Hi, welcome to the Psalm Prep video. I'm just going to run through with you kind of how I would go about prepping for the Psalm on this Sunday. And this could also include the response on the Gospel Acclamation as well. But I'm going to go over the Psalm and you can apply the worksheet to the Gospel Acclamation if you would like to. If not, that's totally up to you. I'm going to use May 10th, the Ascension of the Lord, and I'm also going to be using this from Year B. Okay? So, my first step, number one, is to read. Read the psalm slowly out loud, okay? You can do it in order of how you sing it, so response, verse, or you can just go all the way through. Do the response once and then go the verse all the way through. And then kind of pause and think about what the words are actually saying. And then you can read it again if you'd like. I'm going to give you just an example here. So if I read, God mounts his throne to shouts of joy, a blare of trumpets for the Lord. All you peoples clap your hands, shout to God with cries of gladness. For the Lord, the Most High, the Awesome, is the great King over all the earth. Okay, and so I could sit and let that sink in. Okay, step number two. Let's go ahead and highlight words that stick out to you. And it can be different for every person. So don't worry about, oh my gosh, I like this word and someone else like this word. It doesn't matter. Okay, the psalm should be applicable to your life and also everyone else's life. But the way you sing it could also affect somebody, and the way someone else sing it could affect somebody else. So you never really know exactly how the way you're singing something might affect somebody. So just go with what you know, go with how you feel about it, you know, and go from there. It could be the same word that you like throughout the whole phrase. For example, in this one, trumpets appears a lot, shout, joy, those kind of words. Those could all be the same, and you really love those words and you want to emphasize those words. Great. I would say, in general, try to have one underlined or circled word per verse line, so top and bottom. And then also, you can have multiple words in the refrain, I would think. Okay? Okay, now that we've highlighted our words, we're going to move on to step number three. Step number three is going to be reread. Okay? Reread your psalm or your response out loud again with your highlighted words. Okay? So put a little emphasis on maybe a different inflection on your words. However you feel like you could best bring that word or phrase to light. Okay, so here's an example. I'm going to use verse 2. God mounts his throne amid shouts of joy, the Lord amid trumpet blasts. Sing praise to God, sing praise. Sing praise to our King, sing praise. So I highlighted a few words. I highlighted joy, praise, trumpet, and sing. To me, those were words that really stuck out in that verse and really made the verse come alive, and perhaps brought the message of the psalm across to other people a little bit better. Okay, that one's a pretty easy step. Okay, now we come to number 4. Number 4. Really great step here. This is where we connect with the psalm. Okay, in some way, it doesn't have to be anything profound, it doesn't have to be life-changing. Just think about how it can apply to your life and perhaps just the emotions that could go along with that psalm that reminds you of something that you've gone through in your life. So, for example, this Ascension of the Lord, May 10th, it's very joyful, shouts of joy, blare of trumpets. So in this particular setting, think about a time in your life that was joyous, something that you remember and will remember for the rest of your life. I mean, the ascension is a pretty big deal, okay, right? The Lord ascends into heaven. So we obviously can't top that. But think about something that might have impacted your life. I would say for me that just the birth of my children. Okay, it might sound real mommy of me, and it totally is, but it's just the joy you feel and the expectation of, giving birth and then having this life in your hands. It's incredible. And also just having life inside of you while those 9 months that you're waiting. But there's the anticipation of waiting and working and waiting so hard for all that. And then all of a sudden you have this beautiful gift in your hands and you're just overcome with joy and gladness. So it could be something like that. It could be something, like I said, whatever works for you. Okay, don't overthink that one too much. Okay, that brings us to step number 5. Okay, so if you have a CD to practice with, the response, or you meet with your choir once a week, twice a week to practice for Sunday, fabulous. I would say apply all of these steps to your practice time. You are one step ahead of us, people who don't practice, it's right before Mass, okay? We usually practice like the 10 minutes before Mass. We just play through the psalm and wing it from there, which is okay too. It works really well for us, but not everyone can do that. So go ahead and try to put the feeling that you've connected with into your practicing, into your psalm. Okay, you have to practice it in order to feel comfortable with it, and to also feel comfortable with how you've inflected the words and brought light and life to the words of the psalm. Okay, so yeah, that is exactly the 5 steps for psalm prep.